Welcome to the Men of Wonder podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and today we're going to be talking about success. And everybody wants to talk about success. If you just have to go on Facebook and you'll see an ad of somebody telling you about how they're going to make you so much money in 2 seconds. I'll make you £1 million or $1 million in 2 seconds, and you don't even have to lift your finger. And it's all this stuff that's on Facebook. And to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that is being sold on Facebook or Instagram, a lot of it is pretty good if you follow the principles. And for me, I've had over 2 years where I've been trying to launch an online business, not very successful, sort of moderate success. And I've also made a few friends online. So yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. He's successful. He's on track to make his first million this year. And he was just advising me on some of the things I've been doing online and what I needed to do. And we started talking about the podcast because he had been listening to a podcast. And he said, what is your target audience? And I said to him, after high achieving people like him, and redefine success for them. And it took him back for a bit because he's on track to make $1 million. That's outwardly, that looks like success. And while that's where that's the sort of paradigm that everybody takes, real success is not the monetary success or getting a lot of money or being able to go on holidays. That's not success. Sometimes that is just a achievements that you have set goals and you've achieved it, but just because you've achieved it doesn't really sort of guarantee you happiness or stuff like that. So success, I was saying to him that success is actually having complete freedom, and that's what we believe on the Men of Honor, that you have to live your life by design so you can have complete freedom. And complete freedom means that you are not lacking anything. So you're not, even though you're making money, it doesn't change your state. So you're sufficient to where you are. So if you lose everything today, while it might be upsetting that you've lost everything, you're still satisfied, you're still content, you still can find happiness within yourself, so that you don't have anything that predicates your happiness. So there's nothing outside you or externally that can define what you feel internally. So with that premise, he started looking into himself, and we started agreeing on quite a few points. So in terms of marriage and everything else, I was saying to him, your spouse shouldn't be your source of happiness. She might make you happy in terms of the fact that you're together, but she shouldn't be your source of happiness. You should be able to add to each other in order to grow together. And if she's happy by herself and you're happy by yourself, then you're into contribution. You're not taking, you're not expecting. So it's more of a taking thing. And this can be quite frustrating because then these are the issues that come up in terms of relationships. And we talked about business, that if your business is the thing that makes you happy, then you become so focused on business to the point that you neglect everything else. And then so that again it spills into your family, that you don't spend time, because, or if that's the thing that makes you feel fulfilled, then you're going to spend more time with it. And then we talked about how you sort of spend time with yourself, and what are the feelings that you feel when you're by yourself, and how do you, if it's negative, how do you medicate yourself? So all this, it came down to time and satisfaction with life. And it was an interesting conversation because with my target audience, I think I've sort of dripped some of this information through, and he was talking about me being more explicit on the target audience, like the high achieving people. Some of these guys are making millions but are unhappy. They're making millions but they're divorcing their wives or having issues with their wives. They're making millions but do not have fruitful relationships with their children. So these are the most important things, because once you take the millions away, then what does that person have, and what do you have? And redefining this has been the most important thing for myself. I've not reached those heights in terms of financial success, but when I initially started wanting to chase this financial success, it was all for the wrong reasons. and it was more about me raising my status, because I've come from a paradigm where I think my status is pretty low. So if you don't know about me, I was bullied at school, and I started playing sport in order to raise my status. I did that, and ever since, I've always done things to raise my status. A lot of it was to do with my dyslexia. So when I was at school, one of the teachers actually mocked me in front of the class, which gave license to the whole class to mock me, which then over time I've been trying to prove that I'm not stupid and everything else like that. So my whole focus became me being the most successful, because I need to prove people wrong, and it's the wrong paradigm. And a lot of people have actually achieved success. Unlike me, I've not. It's been an inspiration to be successful, but it has also been my hindrance to be actually being successful. Whereas some people, they have not had the hindrance, they've actually made it. And if you're coming from that paradigm, then you've reached those heights, and the moment that you're by yourself, you're living in hell. So you now have to find things to medicate yourself, whether it's buying a brand new car so people can see you in a nice car, whether it's buying yourself in a house or going on holidays. You're finding ways to medicate yourself in order to escape feeling rubbish, basically. So I thought that was an interesting conversation, something that I think was quite important to start speaking about, that is high achieving entrepreneurs and businessmen. It's going to be important for us to discover what actually makes us happy, or what are those things that are preventing us to be truly happy, because we all have this thing where we say, I'm okay, and it's one of the most horrible words that come out of a man sometimes. My best friend, we lived in London, and we were living what looked like a successful life, but really we were traumatized in a sense, because we were out, we were PUAs, we were gaming, and outwardly, in terms of a male perspective, we were chatting up a lot of girls, we had lots of girlfriends, and it wasn't cheating or anything. We were actually telling them that we're not ready for relationships, and we're going through this cycle. So outwardly, if you look in as a man, you think these guys are really good because they can pick up girls, and we had a business going, he was relatively successful, and it looked like we had everything sorted. And I thought the same, and many times I ignored the signs, but he ended up killing himself. So you think that a guy with what looks like success in his life is getting money, he's got the girl, he's actually been in relationships with some celebrities. I mean, this is a guy who you would think is successful, but he could not stop and then say, I need help, because he was unhappy on the inside, and he was doing all this to try and mask, or at least numb the pain that he was feeling on the inside, and he ended up ending his life. So this is one of the key motivators when it comes to the Men of Honor group, but also it's also to just take off the masks of masculinity that we have, the ones that stop us from actually living our life to the fullest, where we're completely happy and nothing is stopping us from discovering, new heights of happiness, without having to have money, without having to have the hot girl, without having to have, all these other things of medicating, like, whatever it is that you use to medicate. So I've sort of rambled along, but hopefully there's a theme that you've picked up from this podcast episode. And thank you very much for you guys for listening. In fact, yesterday we've had the most listens that we've ever had. Guys, if wherever you're listening at on this podcast, please leave a review. Even if you don't like the actual content, please just leave a review and say your piece. And also, if you've got any questions, please, if you've got any questions, I'm going to be building something in terms of a place where you can anonymously put a question to us, so I can answer it through the podcast as well. So thank you very much for listening. I'll keep posted I'll keep you posted on the place where you can go to put this information. And thank you very much for listening. I hope I'll be hearing from you guys soon. So I hope you're having a good weekend as well. Unfortunately, I'm working, so it kind of sucks. But I like to spend time in my car and make these podcast episodes and just give you a snippet of my journey. I'm not all the way there, so I'm just documenting my journey to living my life by design so I can experience complete freedom. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll be seeing you soon.